The difference between your subconscious mind and your ego mind identity is created of the misidentification. Whatever word you put after I am is in fact a misidentification. I am a Christian. Misidentification with religion or misidentification with the belief system. I am a coach, misidentification with the talent or ability. I am fit, misidentification with the body-mind concept. Your subconscious mind is your every thought and thought behavior programmed. Every thought that you have had and every behavior that you've implemented is rooted in your subconscious mind. And we do know that we have thoughts and habits that we are aware of, but there are so many habits and behaviors, a multitude of thought programs and behavior programs that is not only installed in our subconscious mind, but also actually is how we experience life and how we decide how we are going to act and do in different situations and in our everyday life. From my point of perception, it's important to not only be aware about how these programs have such a power in our life if we are not aware of them, but also why it's important to understand the difference between them. Identifying with a belief or an identity, your conscious mind and your higher mind in prison because you are letting your identity dictate what you will experience, what you will create. For example, if you're identifying yourself with being an introvert, you may miss out on how fantastic it will feel to express your ideas and your creations to the world. If you are identifying yourself with I'm an extrovert, you might miss out on discovery, the connection with your higher self, because it's when we stop thinking and stop acting. Some people call it meditation. When we do that, we are in fact able to tap in to the messages from our higher self, and we are able to tap in to the infinite possibilities that we already are, because we are unconditioned. Identity is not unconditioned. Every identity has a set up of rules or programs. If you say I am always positive, or I am a constructor, I am a chef, just by saying so, we project the illusions of the ego mind identity, because being a chef goes hand in hand with loving to cook food, and that is what you do and that is what you identify with. Today I wanted to talk a little bit more about everything that goes on in our subconscious mind. What goes on in our subconscious mind are, per definition, the things that we are not aware about. And these can be thought patterns and habitual behaviors, how we react in different situations. If we want true liberation, and if we want to take back the control that is already ours to begin with, that already resonates within us, the infinite possibilities and the ownership of ourselves, we need to be aware about the shadows that has dominion in our subconscious mind. Habits is one great example. We have so many habits that we are not aware of, and they can both benefit us in terms of growing, but they can also stop us from actually growing. I easily get caught up in being productive and doing, or I get caught up in the phase of just wanting to relax, not wanting to do anything. And for so many years I struggled with this because it's not accepted in our society to be super productive the one day and the next day, just want to chill out and binge watch Netflix. I felt that I disappointed myself so many times because I set up, these goals for myself, and I was super productive and super motivated, and I did more than many people around me that I know would have done at the same period of time. But then I just hit this wall. If you're not sleeping because you are so creative, eventually your body will need the rest. This habit led me to struggle with how I used my abilities. When I were this super productive, I didn't want to slow down because I knew, based on my experience, that do this now, well, the fire is on, because I know that I will, need to just shut down. So it was a paradox and a way for me to deal with this whole thing. I started to identify with ADHD because it was like, yeah, but I'm like this because I have ADHD. Identifying with ADHD made it also me to be anything else. I never identified completely with ADHD because I've always said, like, you are not your diagnose ever. I think I carried the infinite wisdom within me always, but it was not tangible because I couldn't see it. I couldn't bring it to the light. But identifying in some parts with this became a prophecia that it became my acceptance of the world and myself. We can actually take command over our habits to give ourselves permission slips to actually discover ourselves, and also permission slips to start to create what we want. I really know that I feel so much better when walking outside. Unfortunately, that is not a habit of mine. It used to be, but for many reasons it's not anymore. It's the thing that I always, postpone and think like, okay, but the clock is so much, so no, I will do that tomorrow, next day, tomorrow I will just start to implement the 1 hour walk that I know is so beneficial for me. This example is about me. To start to create and build a new habit, it's not about creating a new program to identify with. Walking feels so good for me. I get so much more energy. I feel so much inspired. I can turn any bad situation into a good one, just reasoning with myself. It's like meditation for me, and it has always been. This habit would be good for me, and therefore I can install a new habit in my subconscious. But the difference is that I will not identify it. For example, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I also really both love and to create music, but it's one expression of mine. It's one of the portals where I express my authentic self. For so long, I found it hard to, make the space or make time for it, but time is just an illusion, so we would call it make it space for me to creating. I want the creating part to come naturally, yeah, of course, but if I never make the space for the creative part to come naturally, where can it penetrate? Where can I receive the message from my spirit, from my inspiration? So then I started a new habit, and as far as all habits concerned, I would say it has an incubation time. It takes time to install the new habit. But anywho, I decided that I will just take 15 minutes each day that I've completely focused on my music. And first I thought, but 15 minutes, that's nothing. That's, about to open up the studio and put everything on. But I did it. So now, and that actually made me create my first album. A dream I've had since I was little to release a whole album. Due to this habit of mine, creating a space, 15 minutes each day, led me to actually holding my album in my hand. No, that was not truth because it's on Spotify, but you understand. You understand what I mean. I actually achieved my goal. So what I think is, the keys from this conversation is to understand the difference between your subconscious mind and ego mind identity, and use this wisdom and use this awareness to start creating habits that open up space for you for the desire that you want, but never identify with the new habit, never identify with your experience. Thank you. I hope this was useful in some way. And if you're like me, like to reflect on your own thoughts and also are open for seeds that other people spread when they are reasoning, subscribe to my channel. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for being here.